folks. I've got Brad Evans on the line. Brad is an inventor and a kickboxing expert, but what he's really made is something called a core bag. It's a coordination punching bag, and I've looked at a picture of it. It's a pretty neat product. It's patented, and I think he's really on the way to making a lot of money with this thing. Thanks for joining the show, Brad.
Well, thank you, Stuart, for having me on.
Tell me, your core punching bag, is that more for kickboxers or for a regular boxer?
Well, it's going to work for either one. I have a Muay Thai karate background, and so I invented this punching bag to simulate a real person. It's an unpredictable punching bag, and so there you go.
So you don't know which direction it's going to go, so you've got to be prepared to do everything.
Exactly. And then to give you more of an overlap of the whole journey, see, I started off with this as just a regular punching bag for martial arts. But then some people started hanging it in their gym and, hang it with a treadmill. And they found out people walked further. So it became sort of a fitness product. Well, then some scientists got a hold of it, and they found out that the unpredictable motion is good for children, or it's even good for elderly people to fight against Alzheimer's. And it's the unpredictable motion is actually growing your brain. So that's sort of the journey of the product. It was a martial arts product, then it was a fitness product, and now it's a full-on brain development tool.
Yeah, I can see all these senior citizens out kicking and punching.
Right? It's. I have my grandma on tape hitting the bag. It's not as exciting as some black belt hitting it or whatever, but it's still funny to watch Grandma hit it, and they need, just because you're old doesn't mean you can't exercise. In fact, you probably need it even more.
It would make a great YouTube video.
Exactly.
Go viral. I think it's great. And you're a karate fitness person yourself, right?
That's correct. I about 4 to 6 years in karate and another 4 years doing Muay Thai boxing.
That's fantastic. What belt do you have?
I have Papa Jit, which is an armband for Muay Thai. It's the sort of the similar thing as a black belt for karate.
Is there any particular type of karate that you use, or what technique do you use?
I studied Okinawan karate. So
Okinawan.
It's a mix of everything. So, there's no traditional disciplines
It didn't
anymore.
work too well for the
Everything's
Japanese when we took Okinawa.
What was that, sir?
I said, I don't think it worked too well for the Japanese. We took Okinawa.
Oh, yeah, well, karate versus bomb is not going to work. But, it's still there and it's still viable.
I know there's so many different techniques. My grandson, for a while, took something called Krav Maga. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, that's the Israeli martial art.
That's just dirty fighting. It's just dirty street fighting, but it's pretty good.
It's all about winning, and Krav Maga, again, not to bring it back to my product, but it's all about your mind, okay? Your mind is the ultimate weapon, and Krav Maga definitely fits into that alignment. It's not about being stronger, it's about being better. It's about being more coordinated, and
oh, sure. But I would think whichever technique you use, and even regular boxing, which I used to box, but some of the stuff they do today scares me, frankly. It's
sure.
I used to box clean.
Yeah, with the boxing, I don't want to say deceptive, but there's only two targets, your head and your body. You end up getting hit in the head a lot more. The MMA, even though it looks more brutal and there is more blood, I think long term you'll have less damage because all the body parts are going to get injured, and so it's not just totally on your head.
That's probably true, but I think no matter what technique you're using, that your product would work. This core bag, it's a series of bags, isn't it? Like hanging together.
Exactly. There's one section that's the head, a second section that's the body, and a third section that it represents the leg. And the real secret is that even though the two sections are the same size, they have different weights. And we went around for years adjusting the weights and the way that the wires work and the different coatings and the different materials to really try to make it move like a person. So it's not just unpredictable, it sort of moves, got a little wiggle, a little head movement, just like a real boxer.
It's very interesting. Now, is this available in stores, or how can someone buy one of these?
We sell them primarily off the website, and that's corbag.com. But it's also in a couple of boxing stores.
Okay, so if everybody, you want to go to corbag.com, and I think there's a little video of you doing it, isn't there?
This is me in the video, but there's also a lot of other people. Sometimes, people get apprehensive. They're not into martial arts, and so they don't want to try something new. But if you have a look at it, you'll see some kids hitting it. They treat it like a giant cat toy. It's just a big piñata swinging around. And there's no reason to be scared of it. Even if you have no martial arts experience, it's actually a great way to learn a little bit about martial arts, and it's the real confidence builder.
I think if I were training, and I would want your product and maybe a speed bag for coordination.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a good mix.
Well, I also have a heavy bag, and I like to say the heavy bag you hit hard, core bag is hard to hit, so that you have sort of a yin and a yang of martial art practice.
Interesting. Have you gone to many martial arts competitions yourself?
Not recently. I have fought in a couple. I do okay, but I'm more into a self-defense aspect of things rather than a competition aspect. And for those of you that don't know, MMA competition, that's a master of known variables. You know who you're going to fight, when you're going to fight, how you're going to fight, etc. Self-defense, master of unknown variables. Could happen at any time. Lots of unknown attackers. Lots of unknown variables. So that's more of where my martial art interest lies.
Sure. A few years ago I was flying on a Southwest flight where the seats used to face each other. And sitting across from me, there were three big guys from the U.S. karate team in the Olympics. And, these guys were like 6'4" or more. And I asked them if they had much competition from the Orientals. And he says they don't even show up anymore. He says, because when guys our size get the same skills, it's like fighting children.
Well, that is true. But it is about the skills, because let me tell you, if you're a big guy but you haven't trained and you have no skills, that's not going to work for you. But you're absolutely right. Information that used to be hidden in these, Japanese cities or back in China or whatever, it's all disseminated around the world. Some of the best martial artists are coming out of Australia or even Brazil. And it's
they said that. They said Venezuela,
too,
too, and Ecuador. They got some big guys and some good fighters.
Oh, sure.
Well, Brad, this was really interesting. And again, everybody should go to the Internet and go to corbag.com, CORBAG, and you'll see this punching bag. And even if you're not a martial artist, it's a great exercise tool, right?
Absolutely. And it's literally the cutting edge of science. I am working with 2 or 3 universities right now. I came across an article where it was unpredictable motion builds children's intelligence, and I sent them the product. I go, hey, I think this bag could work for what you're trying to do over there. And so they're really investigating it for kids. You play with this piñata-like thing. You play with my core bag, 10 minutes a day, and suddenly you're going to have more IQ or whatever, because it's growing your brain, it's growing your neurons in the same way that weights would grow your muscle. This coordination bag grows your brain.
Well, I think that's fantastic. Again, Brad, thank you very much for being on the show. And again, if you didn't get it, everybody out there, go to corbag, CORBAG.com. Brad, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stuart. It's been a pleasure.